counting down again. For those of you out there, hopefully we didn't have too bad a technical little glitches there when we're starting. My name is Brent Lee. I'm the managing editor of all things ECC.com. We're doing a Facebook Live event today, and very happy to have with me Darold Whitmer, Senior Vice President of NGA 911. And I'm a little familiar with your background, but I'm sure our watchers aren't. Can you tell us about yourself, please, sir?
Certainly, Brent. Thank you, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity to share our story with everyone today. I have spent over 27 years in the public safety sector on the private side. I've had the opportunity to work in database services, but more importantly, for the last 16 years, starting in 2004, I have been involved with Next Generation 911.
All right. So on the trying to figure out how to put this. So on the other side of life, before you were in public safety, what types of things were you with? Were you with communication companies, doing work for them, or no?
Data telecommunications since 1974. I'm an old timer. I've been around a long time. I worked for telephone companies. I worked for data communication companies. Back in the days of Ameritech, I worked for Ameritech in telecom. So yeah, I've been around a long time, sir. Thank you.
I guess the point of my question was to make sure that anybody that's watching and our viewers has an understanding that you can see it from both sides. You're just not somebody that came from the public safety side dealing with 911. You're able to see the commercial aspects too that go along with it. So what's your role at NGA 911?
Brent, I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategic Relationships, and that means that I have the responsibility of the relationships that we have with all of our major carriers, the OSPs. One of the most integral parts of rolling out a Next Generation 911 solution is the integration with the originating service providers, the OSPs, and it is my responsibility to manage those relationships at the high level, certainly not the technical level, to manage our relationships with all of our partners and provide business direction to the company.
All right, thank you. Again, a very important role. Coming from the public safety world, I was involved in communications as a law enforcement officer and as a supervisor and comm center manager. So I know how important it is to have that connection with the representative, whoever's providing your services, whether it's ISP, OSP, radios, the whole nine yards. So I can really appreciate your position and what's going on with you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about NGA 911 and what they have to offer?
Certainly. NGA 911 was founded in 2016, and we have developed our own next generation core service. That means we have all of the functional elements of the NENA I3 standard that were developed internally by our company. The important aspect to that is that we own, manage, and control our own development and our own code. That allows us to be nimble as we move forward in deploying NG 911. NENA has a set of standards called I3 that are the standards for Next Generation 911. But like any set of standards, there are variables that need to be addressed. And with our managing our own development, managing our own testing, we have the ability to be flexible and work with other companies as we do EZINet to EZINet, the Emergency Services Internet network connectivity to other NG Core services, and it allows us to be very flexible. Because we're in the AWS cloud, we are a cloud-based solution, we believe that, we not only believe, we know that we have one of the highest availabilities for NG Core service in the marketplace. There are 8 images or instances of our software running for any region or deployment that we have, and these are unique to each deployment. So as an example, state of California, where we have 2 regions, Los Angeles and Central, we will have 8 images of our application software running for each region. As we move to other regions of the country, it will be the same thing. We're not reliant on a set number of data centers to run our regions for us. We have the ability to deploy those, and it gives us high availability, greater than the 99.999 or 5 nines required by public safety. From our NG Core service, we're actually in far more than 5 nines. And that is because of the architecture we have done with AWS and our own engineers to develop this system that is unique in the marketplace. Obviously, it meets all of the i3 standards. Matter of fact, our solution was built from the ground up to support i3. We didn't have any legacy mindset in the development of our NG Core service. We're very proud of that.
Well, very interesting, and you should be, because of all the different solutions across the country and trying to work with gateways and whatever else, being able to develop your own services really makes you unique, and it's something that you should be proud of and that people should certainly pay attention to when they're looking for a service, a 911 service. It's interesting you mentioned 5 nines. That's, back in my old days dealing with radio 15 years ago, everybody promised it, but it was one of those things that you really had to believe they couldn't deliver in the long run. So
Absolutely.
Hearing you, and I'm sure you've been there and you know about it. So having hear you state that, because of your own development, your own internal way of doing things, you're able to meet that and better is really another surprising aspect of what you have to offer. So
and we've taken it one step further. Excuse me, Brent. Sorry, we've taken it one step. We've taken it one step further for the emergency services IP network, the EZNet. We have developed a strategy for deployment on the EZNet, which is in the legacy world, it's called the last mile. You do the CAMA trunks from the selective router or the 911 trunks from the selective router to the PSAP. Now that last mile are the EZNet IP trunks from your NG Core service into your PSAP. We want those to be fiber. We want those to be redundant, because that's the biggest challenge we have in 5 nines in the network today. And that's not just NGA's challenge. That's a challenge to the industry. We have deployed a model that allows us to take in multiple different types of carriers, whether it be MPLS, microwave, LTE, bond those to provide a higher level of availability on that very vulnerable last mile. We're also very proud of that development.
As well you should be. So how do I put this? So there are numerous solutions out there, and as you move forward, do you see a time when it can be moved to a lot of cloud-based systems, or is it going to remain old-style data systems? I'm sure you're trying to improve it with what you're doing and move it across the country, but do you see that as a viable option going forward, and moving maybe even others moving to the cloud solution?
So honestly, Brent, I see it as the only solution. As we look at what's happening in the cloud world today with AWS and others, you have over 3,000 government agencies in the United States today using the cloud. I don't know how we would have survived the pandemic without Netflix. And of course, Netflix is an AWS cloud service as well. But as we move forward in 911, AWS cloud and the other clouds were built for IP. Their infrastructure is IP. The vision of NINA and next generation 911 i3 specifications is in fact IP. So the basis, using a core AWS cloud, in our case, that was built on IP, to deploy IP services makes all the sense in the world. We are also getting ready to announce officially that we have partnered with companies to provide a call handling equipment, call handling system, call processing, whatever you want to call CPE these days,
Right.
in the cloud. And part of that is caused by the pandemic. The ability for people to work from their home over a VPN and have exactly the same services they have as if they're sitting at a desk in a call center is absolutely, in a 911 PSAP, is absolutely critical these days. We can't assume this won't happen again. We're not out of it yet. We can't assume it won't happen again.
Oh, and I fully agree with you. Can you tell me some of your locations where you currently provide your service?
Absolutely. We are deployed in Elko County, Nevada. We took Elko County, Nevada from a basic 911 system. They didn't even have enhanced 911, from a basic 911 system to a next generation 911 system with a cloud-based CPE in a deployment that took 11 months. We are currently in active deployment in Logan County, West Virginia. And of course, our two largest implementations are going on in the state of California. We have won the LA and central regions of California as part of Budge Courier's NG911 strategy for the state. We have 189 PSAPs that we're in the process of deploying, which will handle, when the deployment is complete next year, approximately 14 million 911 calls a year. We have a contractor, will have shortly, we have an award from 911 ACOG, the Association of Central Oklahoma Governments, and we have an award in Florida that we will hopefully be moving with in the not too distant future.
Oh, all good news from the company. So
yes,
if people want to know more, Darold, how they get a hold of information. I know that you have a website. Is there a specific address to get a hold of you, or sales, or maybe you can provide some of that?
Certainly. They can always reach out to me and I can pass it to the appropriate person. My email is very simple. It's Darold, D-A-R-O-L-D, excuse me, at nga911.com. And please feel free to reach out to me at any time, or to our Vice President of Sales, Candace, C-A-N-D-A-C-E, Allred, A-L-L-R-E, at nga911.com.
All right, appreciate that. Before we say goodbye to our viewers, is there anything else you'd like to add, Darold?
Just want to share with any of our safety folks that are listening in. Thank you so much for everything you do. What we're doing behind the scenes for you is to provide you the tools that allow you to do the job that you do on a daily basis. You protect the lives and the property of the public, and you are my heroes. I look forward to working with you every day, and thank you again for all that you do.
Coming from that side of things, I couldn't agree more, and thank you for those words. To our viewers, this will appear on our Facebook page, allthingsecc.com. It will remain there, and we'll also get it posted to All Things ECC's website, and we'll include a link in our newsletter. So hopefully those things we do will help your company too, moving forward.
Thank you very much, Brent. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here, and look forward to probably talking to you again in the future.
Look forward to it.
I'll end the session. Have a good day, everybody.